Before we begin today's story, take a moment to subscribe if you enjoy emotionally driven stories that linger with you long after the video ends. These are the kinds of stories that aren't loud or rushed, but quietly settle into your heart. And if you stay until the end, you might find yourself thinking about this one longer than you expect. 6 months have passed since the dinner party where my husband exposed everything. 6 months since my 3 best friends stopped returning my calls. 6 months since I learned that some mistakes don't care about apologies or promises to change. I still replay that Saturday morning in my head, wondering how I could have been so foolish. How I let myself treat my marriage like a test instead of a commitment. How I didn't realize my husband Kevin had heard every word of the phone call, where my friends convinced me to fake wanting a separation. It started so innocently. Just another Thursday evening wine night with the girls while Kevin was supposedly working late. Sarah, Michelle, and Brittany had been my closest friends since college. We'd survived bad breakups, career changes, and family drama together. So when they started giving me relationship advice, I listened. The wine was a good Pinot Noir, $45 a bottle, because Sarah always insisted we deserved the best. We were successful women after all. Sarah had her marketing director's salary. Michelle ran her consulting firm. Brittany had just made partner at her law firm. And me? I managed a dental office. Not exactly glamorous, but Kevin's income as an electrician more than made up the difference. "You've been married 7 years," Sarah said, refilling my wine glass while sitting in my own living room. She was already on her 3rd glass, her voice carrying that sharp edge it always had when she talked about marriage. "How do you know Kevin still values you? Men get comfortable. They stop trying." "He tries," I defended weakly. "He just bought me that necklace for our anniversary." I touched the delicate gold chain around my neck, the small sapphire pendant catching the light. Kevin had skipped lunch for 3 months to afford it. I knew because I'd found the receipt in his truck along with a note from the jeweler thanking him for his patience with the payment plan. "The one you asked for specifically?" Michelle laughed. "That's not romantic. That's just following instructions." Michelle had grown bitter since her separation 2 years ago. She had caught her husband texting a coworker. Nothing inappropriate, just friendly conversations, but she had never forgiven him. Since then she saw betrayal everywhere. "At least he remembers your anniversary," Brittany added, absent-mindedly staring at her empty ring finger. "Roger forgot ours 3 years in a row before I finally left him." What Brittany didn't mention was Roger's exhausting double shifts as a paramedic, while she spent his overtime money on designer handbags. I should have shut down the conversation right there. I should have defended Kevin. But something in their words planted a tiny seed of doubt in my mind. Had we become too comfortable? Too predictable? "My cousin tested her boyfriend last year," Brittany said eagerly. "She told him she needed space to think about their future. He panicked, bought her a car, planned a huge romantic gesture. Now they're engaged and he treats her like a queen." "That sounds like manipulation," I said quietly. But even I could hear the uncertainty in my voice. "It's not manipulation," Sarah insisted. "It's making sure your man knows your worth." I took another sip of wine, feeling their eyes on me. These were confident, successful women. Sarah was a marketing director. Michelle ran her own consulting firm. Brittany had just made partner at a law firm. Surely they understood relationships better than I did. Right? "I don't know," I admitted softly. "It feels wrong to lie to Kevin." "Who said anything about lying?" Michelle leaned forward. "Just tell him you need time to think about your marriage. See how he reacts. If he really loves you, he'll fight for you," Brittany added. "And if he doesn't?" Sarah shrugged. "Wouldn't you rather know now than waste another 7 years?" The wine blurred my judgment, and their logic started to sound convincing. Kevin had been distant lately, working late, spending weekends in the garage with his projects. When was the last time he surprised me? When was the last time he showed me I was truly a priority? What would I even say? I heard myself asking. And that's when they pounced. They already had the entire script ready, how I should approach him, what words to use, how serious I should sound, and how I shouldn't give in if he became emotional. "Do it this weekend," Sarah urged. "When he's relaxed and not expecting it. That'll give you the most honest reaction." And don't cave if he gets upset, Michelle added. You need to see how far he'll go to keep you. Make sure to tell us everything, Brittany laughed. This is going to be such good drama. Drama. That's what my marriage was to them. Entertainment. And I was too insecure and too influenced to realize it. What I didn't know was that Kevin had come home early that night. That he had stood quietly in the hallway, listening to every word. And while I was agreeing to test his love, he was already planning his response. Saturday morning came too quickly. I woke up with a dull headache from the wine, and a rehearsed script repeating itself in my mind. The house felt calm, ordinary, painfully normal for a day that was about to change everything. Kevin was in the garage, working on his motorcycle, like he did almost every weekend. The steady clink of tools echoed softly through the open doorway. Predictable. Comfortable. Safe. Everything my friends had said was wrong with our marriage. I stood in the doorway watching him for a moment, trying to gather the courage to follow through with what I had agreed to do. Grease smudged his hands, and he hummed quietly to himself while tightening a bolt. He looked up and smiled when he saw me. That same warm smile that had made me fall in love with him 8 years earlier. Morning, beautiful, he said. Want some coffee? I made a fresh pot. The kindness in his voice almost made me stop right there. Almost. We need to talk, I said. The words felt heavy and unnatural. His smile faded slightly, but he immediately set his tools down and gave me his full attention. Sure, he said calmly. What's on your mind? I took a deep breath and began reciting the lines my friends had helped me memorize. I've been doing a lot of thinking lately about us. About our marriage. And I'm not sure I'm happy anymore. The sentence hung between us like something fragile and dangerous. I watched his face closely, waiting for panic. Waiting for desperation. Waiting for proof that he couldn't lose me. Instead, he simply nodded. Okay, he said gently. What specifically has you feeling unhappy? That wasn't part of the plan. He was supposed to interrupt me. To apologize. To promise change. I scrambled for the next line. I feel like we've fallen into a routine, I said. I don't know if this is what I want for the rest of my life. I think. I need some space to figure things out. Space, he repeated thoughtfully. What kind of space are we talking about? Why wasn't he fighting? Maybe we should take a break, I said, my voice trembling slightly. Spend some time apart so I can think clearly. He wiped his hands on a rag, his movements slow and deliberate. How long of a break? I don't know. A few weeks maybe. That sounds reasonable, he replied. Reasonable. The word hit me like a shock. When do you want to start? My mouth fell open. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. He was supposed to beg me to stay. He was supposed to panic, to promise grand gestures, to fight for us. You're okay with this? I asked quietly. You said you need space, he answered. If that's what you need, then that's what you need. I'm not going to force you to stay somewhere you're unhappy. His calmness frightened me more than anger ever could have. He stood and walked toward the house. I'll move my things to the guest room today, he added. We should also figure out how to split the bills during this break. Wait, I called after him, my heart suddenly racing. You're moving out of our bedroom right now? Well, he said gently. You asked for space. I assumed you meant physical space too. Everything was spiraling out of control. I didn't mean immediately, I said quickly. I thought we'd discuss the details first. The details seem clear, he replied. You want a break from our marriage. The sooner we start, the sooner you'll have your answer. I followed him into our bedroom, panic building in my chest as he calmly began moving clothes into a laundry basket. This was supposed to be a test, not an actual separation. Don't you have questions? I asked. Don't you want to know why? He paused and looked at me with steady, tired eyes. Would the answers change anything? He asked quietly. You've already decided you're unhappy. You've already decided you need space. What's left to discuss? I struggled to respond. The script hadn't prepared me for this. I just thought you'd have more of a reaction. What kind of reaction were you hoping for? He asked. The question felt heavy, almost knowing. I don't know, I admitted. I expected you to be upset. I am upset, he said calmly. But being upset won't change your mind, will it? I had no answer. He continued packing silently, each folded shirt feeling like a piece of our life being carefully put away. For the first time since that wine night, doubt crashed over me. Something was terribly wrong. And deep down, I began to realize that I might not be testing Kevin's love at all. I might be destroying it.